Well, hey there. Welcome back to Factorio Space Age. I'm Joe Mama, your host, and happy Squirrel Appreciation Day. Yeah, so apparently that's a thing. Today's the day you appreciate your squirrels, so make sure you leave a couple of extra seeds in the bird feeder so the squirrels can raid it and piss the birds off. So as you know from previous episodes, I'm currently working on a ship to go to the Shattered Planet. I've attempted and reattempted and reattempted, and I'm still working on it, full disclosure. But I have to say, since the last episode, I have had a lot of epiphanies. I've had some people give me some great information. Well, first of all, I'm going to give you the short version first. Let's take a look at the axiom as it currently stands right now. Okay, so here we are on the axiom as it currently stands. And as you can see, it looks very different from before. I did a complete redesign of the axiom. I've stripped everything down, and now it just looks completely different. Now, when you build a ship to go to the Shattered Planet, you're looking for self-sufficiency. Everything you're doing is focused on this ship being self-sufficient, that it can get everything it needs on the trip with as little wasted space or as little wasted effort as possible. And one of the things that we talked about is that any of the Prometheum asteroids you run into, while it's great for science, but they're nothing but a waste of effort, a waste of space, and just a waste of time when you're building this ship. So basically, you want to grab everything except Prometheum asteroids. So of course your grabbers are set up to grab all the other types of asteroid chunks, but not Prometheum. So that was one of the major things. Also, make sure you use fusion power as best as possible. You can't use solar, and nothing else is going to give you the quantity of power that you're going to need. So and you can see I ended up saving a lot of space in the redesign. And I've stripped a lot of things down. I've used accumulators, and I'll explain why here in just a bit. And I've used tanks. I've got tanks like crazy. And again, I will explain. So some of the new principles I've come up with, and they're not new to most of you, I'm sure, but to me, these were huge epiphanies. So I'm going to lay them right out. First, use foundries, okay? This makes making your metals faster and cheaper. And with steel, while I don't have the math right in front of me, in order to make steel, it actually uses less iron ore than it would if you were to try to use an electric furnace. Okay, so for your copper, for your iron, use foundries where you create molten copper and molten iron. And then by creating a liquid, by turning your iron, and remember, iron is one of the things that you never seem to have enough of it, and in this case there's no different, but we're always looking for new ways to store it, and there's a few ways to do that now. If you use molten iron, now you can store it in tanks. Same with molten copper. You can build tanks and store it. Now you can't build chests or anything like that to store iron plates, but you can store the molten iron in tanks, and I have a ton of it. So I've got, let's see, if we click on one, 5.2 million, just was a 5.1642 million units of molten iron. And it's just sitting there waiting to be used. And molten iron can be turned directly into iron plates or steel plates. Believe it or not, you can take your iron ore and create it directly into steel plates. You don't need to create it into iron plates first. Plus, with your copper, you don't need to create copper plates at all. What we need on the space platform is copper coils or copper cables, and you can create those directly from molten copper using foundries. So like I said, use foundries. You won't regret it. Also, you're going to notice that the materials here, speaking of buffers, about the only solid buffer we have other than the hub is the belts themselves. Okay, whatever's on the belt can kind of act as a little bit of a buffer, as a material buffer. Notice that stuff is now stacked. I mean, this looks like I'm grabbing a stack of cookies out of the kitchen. The stack inserters can put stuff into tall stacks. So wherever possible, use stack inserters. They're a little expensive, and they're not what they used to be, but they've gotten a whole lot better. Take a look at the belt here. One belt now holds 32 individual units, whereas if we look at the belt without the stacks, they hold 8. So you basically quadruple the capacity of your belt by using stack inserters. A third, use lasers. Now, as I said before, iron is one of the most valuable commodities when you're traveling to the Shattered Planet. The more you can store, the better. And also, the less you can use, the better. And one of the biggest consumers of iron is bullets, the magazines. So one of the things that you can do, if you use them in a very specific way, is you can use lasers. And what you do is you tell the lasers to shoot only at the small asteroids or the medium asteroids and ignore all other targets. Because if we look in the Factoriopedia, we see, where is it? Space, there we go. We see that the asteroids, let's see, the small asteroids only have a resistance. Okay, let's go back a little bit. When I first built a platform and I was looking for ways to kill the asteroids, it seemed like lasers would be a good idea, but they use a lot of power, a lot more power than solar can provide, and solar was like our primary power source when we were up there in orbit for the first time. Nuclear is hard to manage early game on a space platform. It gets easier, but early on, it's not something you immediately want to. It's resource hungry. It requires, maintenance, and it takes a lot to get rockets up there. But so generally, you're left with solar, and lasers don't like solar power in this game. So it kind of forces you into bullets, using bullets. But once fusion power becomes available, which we've got down here, we've got tons of fusion reactors and generators, and we've got lots of fuel, then lasers become a bit of an option. And by looking at the Factoriopedia, again, let's go back to where it was. Okay, I know I was making a point here. If you look at it, now, as you go to the medium asteroids, they become 90% resistant to laser, and then the big ones are 95, and the huge ones are 99. So not great for using lasers on those. But here's the thing: generally speaking, when we tell our guns to aim, let's go back. When we tell our guns to aim at the asteroids, we're generally wanting to shoot the medium asteroids, because we just can't kill the big asteroids fast enough with guns, so we shoot the mediums with it, and we save the big ones for the rockets. The rockets break up the big asteroids into mediums. The guns destroy the mediums, but a lot of rounds get wasted. Once the mediums are turned into small asteroids, then the guns waste tons of ammunition killing those little asteroids. They don't have to do that. We can use lasers for that. So the lasers can actually take out the little asteroids. So we tell the guns, only take out the mediums and nothing else. And then all the little ones are left to the lasers. And what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and send this on its way. Let's see. We'll send it to Aquilo. And then we'll watch this thing do what it does. Now the railguns still take out the big targets, and when possible, they'll take out the huge ones, and then maybe they'll take pot shots at the big ones. They'll help the rockets out, because again, the rockets are a finite resource as well. Then we're left with a whole bunch of mediums. The guns will destroy the mediums. Now the lasers will inflict damage. If we tell them the lasers to shoot at them, they will inflict damage, which will save ammunition in the guns. That way, when the guns only have to fire 1 or 2 rounds, and then that kills the medium asteroids. We'll see. Like this one right here. See? The lasers weaken it, and the guns take care of the coup de grace. And then the lasers, if you notice, See how they kept firing in short little bursts? They were actually killing the small asteroids. You barely had time to see them before they were dead. So the lasers are doing the work for us, saving us tons of ammunition. So right there, saving us ammunition and saving us iron. Use lasers whenever possible. Let's watch this for a little bit. You can kind of see what's going on. The lasers, they're weakening the medium asteroids, and the guns barely have to fire just to do the final killing. Sometimes the guns don't even get to fire a shot. So pretty awesome, and I think that's going to work well for us. So I highly recommend not ignoring lasers as a possibility. I really think that's going to go a long way to giving us the iron we need to make it all the way, I hope. Finally, we're going to talk about high quality items. Now, like we said, Factorio is a constant management of bottlenecks. And think about when we're engaging asteroids, okay? If you have these asteroid grabbers and they only have one arm, they're going to spend a lot of time trying to grab up asteroids, and a lot of the little asteroid chunks are just going to plow into the ship and be wasted. They won't hurt the ship, not as chunks, but you can see what's happening right there. These asteroid grabbers have multiple arms, and they're absolutely clearing this space in front of the ship. Now, why do we have so many arms out of one grabber? Well, because this one is a legendary quality. You can see it right there. It's a legendary quality. And we've got an epic over here, another epic over here. We got a legendary over here. So the legendary, we hold our cursor over it. Now take a look to the right. You can see a little blue diamond next to the characteristics for this thing. Any characteristic that has a little blue diamond next to it is a characteristic that will be improved with a higher quality item. And you can see almost everything will be improved as far as the asteroid grabbers go. Now if we hold our cursor over the lasers, or the gun turrets, we can see that the range is affected. And then we hold it over this one. The range is affected here as well. But what we're not seeing, I don't see it just... Oh, health. Yes. Okay. If you look, you can see that the health is also improved with a higher quality item. So if we look at, let's see, a rare quality laser, we see that it has a range of 28.8. Okay, and it has a health of 1600 hit points. If we hold over a legendary, it has a range of 36 and it has 2500 hit points. Okay, so when you think about that, so think especially these asteroid grabbers, having these things as higher quality improves our ability to collect resources. Less of it gets wasted against the front of the ship. Okay, so right there, that's a massive improvement over the common. It's a massive improvement over the common asteroid grabbers. But how do we get them? Well, that's kind of another story, and I'll get into that a little bit. But really, if you're looking for some principles to use, some little tips to help you get to the Shattered Planet, that's pretty much what I've got so far. I mean, again, I reiterate other things that I've learned, like I've got sort of a trolling motor set up that only runs when the ship is like below a certain speed. So if I kill these engines right here and I tell the ship to move forward, it will fire these engines here. Okay, so try to find a way to manage your speed, and again, don't waste time with Prometheum asteroids. Okay, also you can see with the extra space, I was able to add capacity for making railgun rounds, for making regular rounds, and then rockets. So I've improved production capacity there. And in addition to using foundries, I'm also using cryo plants to make explosives. They have 8 module slots rather than 4 for a regular chemical plant. Or actually, chemical plant might even be 3. I can't remember. Yeah, chemical plant is 3. but these have 8, so they'll go much faster, and they already go faster because they're a cryo plant. And we are more than keeping up with explosives, so lots of good stuff there. All right, let's talk about quality. What am I doing? How am I getting quality products? Well, that's a bit of a toss-up, I gotta tell you. Welcome to Huey. I've got 3 of these ships: Huey, Louie, which is not developed yet, and Dewey is not developed yet. But Huey is my experiment right now. This guy, I'm trying something different. One thing that I've never used, saw this on the internet. I actually did a search and found this video on how other people make quality products. And I came up with this, I came across this. I didn't come up with this. This is not, the principle is not mine. I mean, this design is mine. I've sort of threw it together. But it is based on somebody else's design loosely. The idea is that we can get quality products in a number of ways, okay? But one of the best ways to do it is to use the free asteroids that are out there. Asteroid chunks. Just grab a whole bunch of asteroid chunks and start processing them. So our goal here is, by using metallic asteroid processing, carbonic asteroid processing, and oxide asteroid processing, and by using quality modules in the grinder, in the crusher. Remember earlier we talked about how if we run a common item through a process, and that process is enhanced with quality modules, that we run we have a possibility of getting better quality items out of it? Well, this is following on that principle. If we crush asteroids, now this process, asteroid processing, all it does is it gives us the asteroid back with an 80% chance of giving us an asteroid back. Now, the asteroid might disappear, but there's a 40% chance we'll get an asteroid, a metallic asteroid chunk, or 20% chance we'll get carbonic or oxide. And then you see there's a bias there toward metallic. If we choose carbonic asteroid processing, then carbonic gets the bias, or oxide gets the bias, okay? That's why we've got the different types, so you can see which type gives us which bias. All right, the 40%. But again, you run the risk that you might not get an asteroid at all. However, if you do, the odds of getting an improved asteroid out of there, of improved quality, they're not awesome, but they're better than any other process you can do, okay? So even using recyclers or whatnot, with recyclers, you only have a 25% chance of getting something back, and it might be of greater quality. But with this, you get an 80% chance of getting something back. Does that make sense? So okay, let's go, to make this all make sense, let's leave here. Now, one of the things I was doing, I was taking, like, plastic right here. I was running it through recyclers with quality improvements, or not recycler. No, I was running, what was it? I was running, I think it might have been either crushers or, oh, I can't remember. Oh, there we go. We got a high quality crusher there. I was either running crushers or running asteroid grabbers through a recycler, hoping that the components that would come out the other side were of higher quality. But the only problem there is, with a recycler, it only has a 25% chance of giving you something back. The asteroid reprocessing, how many of those we got? Just still the one. Okay. With asteroid reprocessing, we have an 80% chance. Huey. And so I'm running asteroids through reprocessing in the hopes that I'll get 80% chance of getting the asteroid back, and then from there, so whatever, let's see, if I use normal quality 3 modules, I have a 5% chance of getting improved quality. Okay, but here's the key. If I can improve the modules themselves, like right here, I've got 2 quality 3, okay? They're quality 3s, but they're quality 3s of normal quality. These are quality 2s of legendary quality. And notice the quality for the crusher, it's for the whole crusher. By using the 2 quality 3 modules, I only get a 5% chance of getting a quality improvement. But by using the legendary modules, and even though they're quality 2, I get 10%. So I'm doubling my odds. And if I could get a legendary quality 3 module, that would be awesome. And I would like to outfit all of these with the higher quality modules. And then notice, here's how the process is working. It's pulling the regular common asteroids off the belt, and then it's processing them. And more than likely, it's going to put the asteroid back, or the asteroid will just disappear. But there is a 5% chance on most of these crushers, a 5%. On this, it's 10, but on the rest of these, if an asteroid does come back, it might come back as a 5% chance of uncommon quality or higher. Now for those, and here's something else I learned. This was a new thing to me. I realized you guys, yeah, y'all probably knew this and I didn't. But if you set up an inserter and you set up a filter, you don't have to pick a specific item. All you have to do is you can pick a specific, you can just pick a quality. Okay, so let's say you want only legendary items taken off the belt. Just hit the legendary quality button and hit confirm, and only legendary items will be pulled. Also, you can set a value so that you can say, I only want legendary items. In other words, the item must equal legendary. Or it can be equal to or greater than, equal to or less than, or less than or greater than, or you know what, you can pick, I want something that isn't legendary quality, or I want something that isn't, it's not equal to rare quality. Okay, so I didn't know that. I did not pay attention to any of this down here until just recently. So I can totally set up filters that are like, let's see if I set this up. There we go, set that one up. Anything except, you know, rare quality. So that's what I did. So I basically told all these filters, pull anything out of these, because you can get 3 different outputs. It didn't make much sense to set a specific item. So I told it just, if there's anything in this crusher that is of higher than common value, pull it out and send it down the line. And then this one, higher than uncommon. This is higher than rare, higher than epic, and so on and so forth. Well, I say higher than epic, but the only thing higher than epic is legendary, so I just told it legendary. So these items will pull legendary items out. Any epic items will get thrown back here and recycled, and same thing for any of these. They'll just, if the quality doesn't improve, the crusher will throw it right back, and then when it does improve, it'll be pushed down the line and then processed. And right now, why have I got all of this? Oh, I'm not doing anything with the sulfur. Why am I not doing anything with the sulfur? What's going on here? Oh, well, that's weird. Huh. Okay. Well, apparently I need some legendary carbon, but you know what I'm going to do? I'm actually going to change this. That's why this guy had it the way he did. Let's change this to carbonic asteroid crushing legendary, and let's see what it does now. Okay, there we go. There's the carbon. There's the carbon. Okay. So what's happening is, this is taking the carbon, the legendary carbon, and it's sending it over here to the coal synthesis, or it's making legendary coal. My goal here, this whole vessel, is basically to make legendary iron, legendary copper, and legendary coal. Basically, I'm trying to get all of the basic items constructed at a legendary level, so then I can make whatever I want Yeah, that's gonna work, I think. Yeah, so I can basically just make whatever I want and have all the resources necessary. So Huey, Dewey, and Louie, or Dewey and Louie are going to be in that vein, but they'll focus more on the iron, or they'll focus on the calcite or whatever. Because with all of that, then I can make legendary plastic, and I can start making lots of quality modules, and then I can just improve the process overall. Does that make sense? So this is an experiment that I'm trying to run, and it's going okay, I guess. What have I got so far? I've got lots of coal. Okay, that's good. And we're on our way to Vulcanus. Now, what this thing is doing, it's a harvester, and it really has to move to harvest. So I'm basically having it do a loop between Vulcanus, Gleba, Fulgora, and Novice, and it's just harvesting stuff and picking it up, and then when it gets to Novice, it drops it off where we can process it. And you can see, if I take you up here, I'll show you what we're on about up here. It comes here to our hub down here on the landing pad, and then we grab it and we filter out the iron, and we make legendary iron, which we use to make legendary chips, legendary copper to make legendary cables, to make legendary chips. And then I'm still working on what we can do with the calcite, but I'm thinking I'm going to mix it with the carbon that we get whenever we do get it. And then when that happens, we'll probably start using foundries here in the ground and make more legendary stuff. We'll see. But anyway, that is kind of what we got going on right now. Oh yeah, and the goal here, like I said, is we're making quality 2 modules. Okay, it's going slow, but I think the process will speed up the more we get modules. The effect will start to snowball, if that makes sense. So not too worried about that. But I'm hoping that by doing this, we can get whatever quality items we need. I want to fill the Axiom with legendary items. I mean, like I said, if you take a look, if you want to know what an item is capable of, how it can, how improved quality could affect your items, just take a look for that little blue diamond. Just, let's see, pick an item anywhere on the map, or anywhere in your inventory, anything that you can make, and you're going to see that little diamond, and that'll tell you, yeah, this is a thing that can be improved with more quality. One thing I was disappointed, trying to store all of that iron, that molten iron, is that the tank. I think this is deliberate. There's nothing on the tank that can be improved with by making one that's of greater quality. I was hoping that the volume would increase like it does with the steel chest, but it does not. Because if I could just make a whole bunch of legendary tanks, then I'd probably be able to effectively double the I would be able to double the capacity of the ship for holding iron, molten iron, right? But I guess not. And but again, okay, Axiom has made its way, and I mean, look at this. Look, you can see the difference in space, just even between the epic quality and the legendary quality, the area that the arms can reach, and there are 6 of them. There are 6 arms reaching around, whereas this one has 4. So with that, we've got, let's see, 6, 12, 18, and then we've got 4 and 4, so 26. We've got 26 arms sweeping the front of the ship for useful resources, when before we only had 5. That's huge. That's going to be huge, and especially, when resources become harder and harder to come by. And if we tell them to ignore the promethium, when things get really heavily promethium, we can make sure that nothing goes to waste. None of the iron, none of the carbon or water or whatever gets wasted. So quality items on your ship is that 4th and final tip I have for you. But anyway, right now that is all I have. So hopefully you found this information useful. Again, full disclosure, I haven't reached the shattered planet yet, but while I can't say these will guarantee my success, I feel confident in saying they really are going to improve my odds. So anyway, y'all have a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next one. Ciao.